I always wanted to be a ventriloquist. But you know, the sad thing is I never got the hang of it. I couldn't get my lips to stop moving. So I was a frustrated ventriloquist for years and years. And then I read a book that changed my life. I read the definitive book on the subject called Ventriloquism for Dummies. This book changed my life because it gave me this wonderful tip about a device that can make lip movement utterly undetectable. I have the device with me here today. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Did anybody see my lips move? Hey, it works perfectly every time. I guess Sniffy will speak to you. Pay no attention to the man in the bag. Don't waste my time teaching me to shake paws. What satisfaction is there in that? Some best friends you humans turn out to be. You go around complaining life stinks when you really have no idea what it smells like. You never return my sniffs. You give me an unwelcome look and shoo my nose away from your crotch. I'm not being impolite. It's just a protocol that you don't get because you're too busy with your nose in the air where it doesn't belong, where all it's likely to smell is the flatulence you blame on me. When I know exactly where it's coming from. Well, pardon me if I don't want to shake paws. And since you refuse to return my sniffs, maybe I'll just keep my nose in my own business. Thank you. The wonderful thing about Sniffy is that he's anatomically incorrect, so he can play multiple roles. He's trans. He can be trans. Versatile. So he's also doubles as Judy. I used to love sitting with my faithful dog, Judy, watching the sunset. And yet, I began to realize, as we sat there with the sky doing its kaleidoscopic tricks, that Judy didn't get it. Judy was a bitch, in the very finest sense. She was affectionate, yet demure, engaging, yet unobtrusive, enthusiastic in a relaxed sort of way, and sensitive. Yes, I felt Judy was truly sensitive, and yet she didn't get sunset. She would sit with me politely as I admired fire-tipped clouds parading before the pink and purpling curtain of evanescent evening. She would listen attentively as I gasped my gasps and sighed my sighs, but Judy herself never evidenced any semblance of aesthetic sentiment for the splendor before us. I loved Judy, loved sitting and watching the sunset with her, and I felt Judy truly loved me too, and yet the poor bitch never did get sunset. Thank you. Okay, so since Sniffy's such a success, go on. Now you see, I'm doing this without the bag, but there's another trick that I learned from ventriloquism with dummies. So it's just a dog and me on the balcony. I pat her head and she looks at me with those knowing doggy eyes, like she understands everything. I smile at her and she seems to smile back with that great open-mouthed doggy smile, you know, the kind of smile that's accompanied by sound for emphasis. That happy doggy sound, that. This is another device using the, of course, you don't get a very good view. You don't get to keep your nose in your own business. So it's just the dog and me on the balcony smiling together. It's late in the day and we're facing the colors of the western sky. The view is magnificent. So I remark to the dog, look at that magnificent sunset. Doesn't it just take your breath away? To which the dog replies, like she's in total agreement with me. But then the dog keeps going for way too long. Now, I can appreciate a good sunset as much as the next guy. But let's face it, after a minute or two, a person starts to lose interest. But here's this dog just going on and on. And I'm starting to get the idea that she's mocking me. That she thinks my remark about the sunset is silly and that I'm pretty unsophisticated for making a big deal about something that happens every day. And she's showing me up with this sarcastic overreaction. And I'm starting to feel insulted. And since it's just the dog and me on the balcony, I see no need to hide my feelings. So I give her that look, you know, that wounded human look. And I say to her, "Et tu, Brute?" Figuring that if she's so damn sophisticated, she ought to be able to handle a little elementary Latin. And "Et tu, Brute" ought to make a dog feel bad enough to back off some. But does she back off? No, she just keeps at it. And I'm starting to feel more and more antagonized, annoyed, and angry, until I notice there's drool coming from her mouth and pooling right in front of her face. Then I'm starting to realize she's not mocking me after all. She can't mock someone and drool at the same time. But there's the dog just drooling away, still going. With that same look on her face that I'm starting to realize it's not a smile at all, it's just the way a dog's mouth goes when it drools. And as for that knowing look in her eye, I'm starting to realize it's nothing but a pretty flat, blank stare. Still, I sit there with her for a while as the sky darkens and the stars twinkle on, and I think how magnificent the night is. But this time, I don't say anything. Because I'm starting to realize this is just the dog and me on the balcony. And there's a smile on my face and not a thing on my mind but the sight of the stars and the sound of the dog.